It's actually pretty smooth, the air, and I'm just planning on shooting through into Italy. So this was probably the best trip of the 2021 season, although they're all special in their own way. After checking out the gliding scene in the southern French Alps, I wanted to catch up with the Paragliding World Cup crew in Disentis, most of the way across Switzerland. So last month, some of my gliding buddies flew most of this route in a day and back again, but you get a closer look at things when you're paragliding, and it's more about the adventure than just flying. I also had a sore foot still, so I was very careful with landings, although really you should always be careful with landings. The weather for my trip worked really well. I flew on consecutive days, and I seemed to cover more ground than my mate who was in the Gliding World Cup in a flat part of France with difficult technical tasks. The point of my trip was to make it as easy as possible. Day 0, the false start day, was tricky and wave influenced, so I ended up visiting the gliding club that I'd been recommended, and I arranged to return there the next month. So I went down to the southern French Alps where Pierre invited me, and flew with Jean-Francois and Mathieu, and also went climbing with the tow pilot Simplon and Pierre, and then went up to Caire and did a couple of days flying with Igor. I hadn't been out this far west in the southern French Alps before. I'd heard about some of the places, but yeah, basically you've got some huge valley crossings which makes the performance of the sailplane quite useful. I got some admin sorted on the way back to a final night with the gliding crew, and then it was a long walk out to a hill to start a vol biv. And behind me is La Motte Caire, where the gliders have been winching for an hour and a half. It's 1:45 now, and I've seen a motor glider come overhead probably 10 minutes ago. I'm not sure where we're in. Let's get off this hill. A bit nervous. Shrubs. So I walked all the way from Toce this morning. Probably could have accepted the offer of a lift to the village down here. 8 kilometres of road walking. There's only one car going past. Just above launch height now, launch is around the corner. A few chamois about, and that sailplane's below me now. Sister on. Didn't get there. So this crazy old man must have seen me flying, and he went to pick me up and bring me back to his village where they're having a communal lunch, which is pretty cool, but I don't want to give up on the day yet. It's a bit windy there. But yeah, I want to try the next hill, soar up, and hopefully get into the mountains tonight. Picked the boer in the distance, and I'm not ecstatic about my situation at the moment. It's pretty weak most of the time. Pretty disappointing. So I think I might hitch back to the gliding club. Finding that gliding club was a blessing in disguise, of course, and the next day I got closer to the big mountains. The southern French Alps are a magnet for glider pilots all over Europe. The weather really is better there, it doesn't rain much. But the dry landscape gives powerful thermals, and the smaller terrain is dominated by valley wind, with the deep long valley that I've followed drawing air all the way into the Alps. So it really is an intimidating place to fly a paraglider. Fairly gusty, it appears to cross from the south. I'm not sure if I should wait, I haven't seen anyone going up yet. Just taken off, and there's actually someone above me who I didn't see before. Well, it's been much better than feared. Definitely a southerly crosswind, but it's still going up. And southerly is helping me go the way I want to go. It's all going well. I've crossed over from the Mergen, arrived above the high voltage lines, and planning to go around this way towards Briançon. Lost almost 1,000 metres after gliding from the top of that peak. Yeah, the wind's coming over more this way. It was southerly at Vilnius, so I thought it might be better on this side. I'm in trouble here. Oh, I'm penetrating now, but had over 40 knots on trim.
So it's bloody windy. Hopefully it's not too windy in the bottom of the valley, but I'm not very optimistic because it's pretty narrow. Well, that's one option. I was going for this valley first because there's landings. I've escaped the gorge, but I think Brownstone is a bit wider further up, so if I get higher I might go that way. Yeah, it's pretty much 20 knots, just about, pretty much. It's Brownstone and much nicer a bit higher, out of the worst of the wind now. There's our Caire. Sailplane up there. Over 2,000 metres now and out of the valley wind and into the westerly. I can see waves in the smoke, and on the highest I've been, almost 10,000 feet. I can see Mont Blanc ahead there. And it is windy up high, so I mean it's supposed to only be about 10 knots, 15 knots at 10,000 feet I think it was. So I'm probably getting a bit sheltered from the Desert Caire, but above that it's really windy, so I'm a bit worried about waves, to be honest. I just want things to be simple and straightforward. Okay, so I think I'll cross this now, but will I cross into the moraine, the next one? Worried about the wind, obviously. Only just made it over that plateau down there because the wind's coming down the valley up here. I lost some height trying to poke around the corner, and I think the wind's coming down that valley, so I'm looking for a campsite now. This looks like a pretty epic spot, and now I've got to find a landing. One of those big dogs down there that they use to guard the sheep from the wolves. A couple of tents down there, and I found it a bit too bumpy to land, but I got some lift, so I might be able to pop over anyway. Just need another climb. Vultures are hanging out here, that's a good sign. Pretty good photo of Mont Blanc behind them, but I don't know if my good camera is too hazy, I think. Very nice. I'm through, and I'm very surprised to see the wind pushing over this way, over the pass on the lakes. Didn't seem like that. Anyway, another paraglider. First one I've seen since the start of the day. Close to Col de Galibier. Oh, I don't want this to be too hectic.
I did manage to cross the Col de Galibier into the northern French Alps that day, which was a bit of a relief. It just felt much softer and greener on that side.
Great. Landing at 8,000 feet. I'm stoked to have landed high and safely. The dodgiest part of the flight would have been past Saint-Crepin, where I realised the wind was stronger than my airspeed and I was going backwards, and I had to soar up from pretty low. And yeah, it's a bit of wind around today. So it wasn't the most relaxing flight, but yeah, awesome to be here, and great spot to camp. The tent's pitched just around the corner, and that's Desert Caire. Stoked to have crossed into northern French Alps today. It was pretty windy and scary, and this is why not exercise outside? It's just a bit of proof to show my sister that I listen to her sometimes. Whoop. I'm making it look like I'm a novice. Anyway, I'm planning to glide across there tomorrow and hopefully climb up on those peaks before crossing the Moraine Valley.
So it's light now, but it's still there. The wind has actually been battering the tent most of the night. So I was going to go across there, grab some water and hike up a bit to fly, but with the wind I think I probably better stay here.
Come on, up you come. So there's camp, there's a Caire, and I'm going to go and get water and hopefully fly from this slope. It seems to be southwesterly at the moment, but more west on the forecast, but we'll see. So I had a bit of suck on the glide across, so I think it's pulling into that in the lee, and I didn't lose a huge amount of height and got some water, so up the hill and we'll see what we can do. I've lost over 1,000 feet. think I might try to cross anyway. I'm not really sure, otherwise hike back up the hill, I guess. Oh, hoping I don't get too much lower. Power lines across the... I can make it to the main valley, but do I want to? Might run out of choices soon.
That's the pass I'd head to next.
Oh, I'm still fragile, bumping my heel.
That's where I've come from, and yep, the wind is definitely on my face, so I'm going to have to climb up to the pass, another 400 metres, but luckily I got a lift. Well, it's 2 PM and I wanted to get up to the pass to check the wind, as I'm not particularly surprised that it's light, because it was definitely variable on the way up. A few gusts around. Yeah, I'm wondering how much wave is influencing the day. Yeah, hopefully flying towards Mont Blanc, but not really sure how it's going to go. There was stronger winds aloft, and I was concerned about this as I skirted the edge of the Vanoise National Park. But actually it helped me, push me along on the glides, and it didn't really mess up the day at all.
Not particularly enthused about my chances on this side, but definitely seems to be more mellow over here. There was a dusty at the coal before. I'll see what we can do. Yeah, I don't want to end up on that side. I'm going this way, so. Look at these cows, eh? And yeah, pleasantly surprised by gentle lift. This is the ticket out. Mont Blanc and Vanoise. So far this flight, the conditions seem more benign, which is great. So we've got Desecra, France, Mont Blanc, and I'm thinking of heading to Grand Paradiso. Grand Combain's distant on the left, and this is the Vanoise. Back in the Alpine, I found a climb in that gully. Briefly got below launch height. Cap cloud on Mont Blanc, and big mountains, eh? Yoo-hoo! Oh, looks like the GoPro's working now. Wouldn't turn on before. Had to pull the battery out. But yeah, Vanoise. Thought I had a climb on the spur. Maybe I should get back to it. Definitely plenty of wind today. Like an extra 15 knots in the glide, I reckon, on the glides if you're high. But yeah, just gentle, fairly gentle lift. Ridge soaring up here. See a few chamois or something on those rocks down there, and the monstrosity of a ski field. Yeah, my shadow is just about approaching those animals. Mont Blanc and the Vanoise. Quite a few lenticulars around, and yeah, I'm wondering what this cloud is. It means something. There's that bump in the ridge that I flew past in May. So much more snow back then. Yeah, pretty good day out, eh? Now the terrain's getting a bit more rugged, and with these cloud shadows moving along and all the lenticulars around, I'm a little bit more intimidated. Understatement maybe. So sitting here, got a bit of forward speed. It's actually pretty smooth here, and I'm just planning on shooting through into Italy. Mont Blanc in the cloud on the left, and Mont Blanc prominent in the sun. Did not go downwind, but when I do, the shadow moves pretty fast, eh? It's a quick video from 10,000 feet. Check out that wave cloud over there. I got a lot of sink popping over there, but rebounded on this. And the Mont Blanc Massif is mostly in the shade. Yeah, I got it wrong before about which one was Mont Blanc, but that's the Grand Combain and the Italian-Swiss border. So was real windy coming into here. I got a peak of 54 knots. Most of the speed bar on, but yeah, plenty of that was wind. I'm just trying to land safely. Time's on my side. Should start shutting down with the shade. But yeah, just getting heaps of lift as I come in, and I don't want to. I just want to have a soft landing.
I was careful with my landing as the winds kept on right through till sunset.
Finally I did it. A nice, smooth, safe, I think, landing. Beautiful area to hang out. But yeah, spent ages until I felt it was right.
An unstable air mass with a few light showers around at dawn made for a cracking day. Starting tucked just south of Mont Blanc, I used the Matterhorn as a homing beacon. But after a low save in some Italian side valley, I decided maybe it was best to land for lunch and have a picnic. This worked a treat, as a few hours later I was up high and sailing along. I rounded the highest mountains of the Swiss Alps and then found the perfect landing spot in the evening by an Italian refugio.
So I camped just here and landed about 50 metres up the hill, or less actually. And it's a gentleman's start, but I'm not missing the long walks. Plenty of wind like there was last night. I got water down here earlier and somehow lost my gems. 1,000 feet above my campsite, and it's working well. Despite, look at the way the clouds are moving, I'm in the lee. Mont Blanc Massif looks awesome. And nice clouds heading the way I want to go. And you can see the westerly on the clouds, especially when it's coming off peaks. So my campsite's just in there, Mont Blanc. And I remember that ridge that I flew in May to get over the pass. It's really low cloud base. Awesome. So I crossed from there when the cloud streak ran out. I decided not to keep going up that way. The clouds look a bit better now, I think. But it's okay on this side, but it's pretty slow, so I'm wondering if I should cross this range again and go down that way. Oh, it's a bad move, pushing onto the valley. Lost over 1,000 feet, I was up there. Sketchy as it's coming up the other side. I don't understand it, but I'll take what I can get. Way up there. I don't want to get too deep in here again. Well, I escaped to the valley. There's some 7-metre sink, and yeah, it's really weird. It must be wave related. I don't know actually, whatever it is. It's weird. And I'm going to try the other side. Maybe land. Yeah, so that's the valley I got stuck in. Really bad sink, and some lift on the inside saved me having to put it in the trees, I guess. And I was very low when I went past that little lake down there with those highliners on it. Thinking it'd be cool to join them, but then I managed to get a climb with the valley wind here. How my fortunes have changed from getting cleaned up in that valley, heaps of sink, and thought I might have to put it in the trees. There's a gorge in front of me, and crossed low over a lake and saw the valley wind, and now I'm up here. The Matterhorn, like a beacon. Yeah, I was very low and almost landed at that little lake where the highliners are down there. Epic.
Good views back towards Mont Blanc and the valley that leads towards the Swiss border.
Still ice on the lakes, and just went through some 8-metre sink. Guess you can expect that on a day like this. And I can't keep blaming everything on wave, because yeah, it's not stable. Running out of ideas here. I've tried across this valley quite a few times now to figure it out, so I might even land and have a break. My shoulders are getting a bit tired in the harness. Probably too much of a slope to get it down, but I just thought I might have a break, so some guys having a picnic here. A few underground sort of bunkers. Well, it was really good. What now but to just wait, and I guess there'll be more sun in a few hours. So picnic time. Yeah, I'll wait for the sun to come around a bit. I just chatted to the Italian family. Actually, their son came over and looked over the hill to make sure I was okay. So had a look at the map. There's a refuge up the head of the valley, but I'm not sure what the winds are doing up there. And this track sort of finishes here. Must be look at these underground bunker things. Inside one of the bunkers. Pretty good condition. Don't know if I want to spend a night there though. Come on. It's looking much better now, and I'm glad I had that little break. It's working much better now. I'm glad I had that little break. Let's go. Into the sailplane, and another one just here, and the Matterhorn. Woo-hoo-hoo! Oh, this is awesome. Worth the wait.
There's the Matterhorn, and it was a great run along towards Monte Rosa.
Oh, who knows what's going on with the camera. Look at this epic street I got in front of me. And behind me is the Matterhorn with its head in the clouds. It's a chopper and a hut down there. I'm not sure what the chopper's up to. And yeah, you can spot a few groups of people walking on the glacier. Oh, what a day! See the Matterhorn and one more in the distance. Down I go! Trying to nip over to the left, and cloud base should be a little bit higher, I guess. Clouds spilling down. It's a new world in here. I'm not sure. I assume there's a valley breeze, but I went further westerly at this height on this peak, but pretty much over the top of it anyway.
So after a good run along Monte Rosa, rounded into the Italian hills, which was a different kind of flying.
It's working here. See the inversion looking that way. But yeah, this is awesome. First time I've been in this valley. I've been looking at it on the map for a while. So I want to fly all the way to those mountains in the distance, then I'll be able to land high and avoid the low valleys and inversions tomorrow. Oh, it's beautiful. Soon I'm going to have to decide between valley wind and sun. How awesome is this? The Italian inversion. The ridge I came along. And there's a climb here. It's perfectly facing the sun, this ridge. And I want to go out there. Nice little spine here, but I thought I'd have more of a face facing the sun, but so many of those birds. So I think it's a good spot. Cloud on top too. Looks to me like a mountain hut, and I really need to charge my phone. And that could be the cable, so I can't see it. Oh, I'm even on a track. What a day! So behind me is where I was scratching away, and it turns out there's no cables at this hut, but the hot shower had views of where I was flying, and I've parked the tent over there. I'm a happy boy. I'm feeling like I'm doing bowl biv the right way. Hot shower, hot meal, charging up everything. Awesome.
Hiking up to the Swiss border, I flew over the Simplon Pass, which is one of the main ones connecting Italy to the Rhine Valley and Switzerland. I lost a bit of height, but it was a great opportunity to enjoy the amazing hospitality of a Swiss family who fed me lunch. Then I hiked up again and followed the Toce Valley up to the head.
Andola Pass. The breeze is coming up really lightly from the southern side. It's a hut I slept at last night.
flew in from that way yesterday, and there's a helicopter. Looks like they put down a few people here this morning. It's a pretty steep ridge, and I think I want to fly that ridge to see some cues in the far right. Beautiful morning.
Okay, from Italy to Switzerland. Beautiful. I didn't expect any lift. I'm planning to land over there. Definitely haven't planned to keep flying. My trousers are in the backpack and in the harness and my phone's in my pocket, but might as well if I'm going up. Don't know how that happened, but I lost a bit of height in the end, but yeah, found a soft looking bit of grass instead of these rocks. Slippery grass, it's the worst. Steep slope, I'm going to probably fall over. Yep. No. Oh, that was a fast forward launch. Because the wing was off centre, I shot through an angle and went really fast over the terrain. I decided to keep flying, I was going so fast. Hopefully I can get up. Guy's gaining slowly, his mate just joined him. I think I'm just going to go for where the valley's deeper, so there's more vertical, anything a bit better formed. I'll take what I can get. A couple of deer. Simplon Pass down that way, and finally a thermal. I thought I might get one here. It's a nice even conical shape. Ah, good. See the westerly on the clouds again. Valley crossing. Not working as well as I hoped. Oh, touch wood, this is good. Been looking for cables like crazy. Glasses are off. Pretty awesome. Time to land.
What a great spot, eh? And that guy, he just had a chat to me, mostly in French, a bit of German. And he brought me this. What a freaking legend. Oh, happy days.
Well, that was awesome. I just got a really satisfying lunch. Local dish, home baked, had potato and cheese in it, and a wine, and some fresh salad out of the garden. So I'm all set, I've got energy, and hopefully I can make some more out of this awesome day. Seems like it's coming up here alright, but it's pretty light, and I've just traversed around because it was too steep before to take off, and there's trees. I could go up there, but the day's getting on. I think we'll have to give it a crack here, I reckon. Hope that dragon's friendly. Oh God. Launch is over there and I'm still a bit nervous. Got a high pressure field. Seems to be a bit of valley wind on this side, not a huge amount. Oh yeah, this is looking promising. So this is the original ridge I thought I'd be following, because I started flying down that valley from that pass this morning. Got a little scenic detour, eh? Oh, a bit of Instagram posting, priorities. Came from down there, and that coal this morning. Don the Dossela's around the corner, and I want to go that way. Well, my belly full after an awesome lunch with the friendly people I met where I bombed out just before lunchtime. And I'm so glad to get up. It was a bit tricky. Came from that coal this morning and scratched from around there. What a view. Ahead there's a fissure in the rock and there's some snow inside. It's kind of like the opposite of a crevasse or something. Interesting looking rock. Don Dossela, see the inversion where I've come from, and I'm just trying to top up before crossing the valley. The Toce to the end of Italy. That was an amazing glide, ridiculously smooth, but even though there's good clouds, I'm nervous because there's an inversion. Oh yeah! Woohoo! Past an ibex on the ridge too, it's awesome. Look at that inversion! These cliffs are amazing, eh? The other side is just gentle grassy slopes, and I'm not even sure it's possibly ridge sorrel over there because I got spat out the coal a bit. Wow, look at this. Well, at the start of this flight I was worried about bombing out with the guys I had lunch with, but it's been an absolute treat. Managed to cross the valley and stay above the inversion, and yeah, the scenery is awesome. And no westerly winds to worry about, we're just beneath that layer now. That lake at the pass looks glassy, but I reckon these clouds are coming from the other side. But it's still working here, I'm going to stay in this valley, I think. Bit of a slow flight here. Need to get up on the peaks again. This ridge is promising. There's some shade from Switzerland, the clouds. It's all a bit strange. I think the inversion's got stronger as the valley's pulled in more cold air. But we're pretty close to the end of the valley, so that's not too bad. Good spot for tomorrow. So the plan is to have a meal at the restaurant and walk over towards the valley.
So I had a good feed at the hut centre picture, camped nearby, and the next day walked alongside that road and up to the left skyline where I flew to the mountains and the centre skyline. I hiked up to the Swiss border and got as high as I could before crossing the Ticino Valley, tucking into the sunny lee of the next big peak for my next climb. As I approached the Oberalp Pass, some dark, broody skies towards the Bernese Oberland threatened to cut me off as they approached. And it was a bit of a climax, squeaking over the pass and getting into Disentis just in time.
Didn't really check the weather, but it looks good. Although there's some storms last night. And it's under 50 k's in a straight line from here to Disentis, so hoping to get there today. It's around 9 in the morning. I'm heading up a hill in the hot sun. Really no excuse not to have a wash. So I'm at 2,600 metres, just above, and it's just after 10 in the morning. Walked up from down there. You can see now the dam is showing pretty still air down there. It was blowing towards the right from the left. And it's coming up the face here. I'm hoping I might be able to get up here. That's the Tessin Valley, and about 15 k's away is where the valley from Altdorf and Andermatt comes through, so it might be interesting flying around there. Looks like a good day.
So far so good. Excellent start to the day. The Rhine is there. Rhine's behind those hills. I started from down there and topped out at 11,000 feet. That's where I came from yesterday, the Toce. Italia! Woo-hoo-hoo! It's wind pushing over, so I'm just hiding it behind this spur, and there's also westerly wind coming down the valley. Smooth, gentle, lee side thermal. This mountain is blocking the wind nicely. I'm going to jump in there next. Over we go! Woo-hoo-hoo! Given it still before midday, I didn't expect so much wind. I mean, I saw the wind turbines moving, but yeah, that was tricky. Had to hide in there in the lee and get a climb slowly but surely, and then jump over these peaks. Fantastic feeling. But it's not over. I've got to negotiate getting over the Oberalp Pass into the Rhine now. So that valley brings in the air from the Swiss flats, and it shoots through here, so getting across there might be tricky. And the Oberalp Pass is tucked in there, and that's where I got to go. Looks looks dark down that way, eh? I saw a distant lightning last night, but apart from a very light convective shower on the morning that I was near Mont Blanc, we haven't had any rain this trip, but let's see if that thing catches up with us. It's definitely something coming out of those clouds, maybe even down there too. I've been thinking, is this thing getting closer to me or I'm just getting closer to it? But Andermatt's now in shade, it wasn't before. Getting a pretty good glide here with 10 knots, well 30 knots ground speed. Moody, hey? Over Alp Pass. Just as I was getting the first spits of rain, I scooted through over Alp Pass. Oh, it's a real X-Alp style flight, this one. It's so awesome! Soaring up the other side of over Alp Pass just after shooting through with the showers just starting to get a few sprinkles. So amazing! Yahoo! So pushing the speed bar, but I just stopped here because it's not raining right now, and I can see paragliders, so they must be trying to have a task. 12 k's to go. Woo! Yeah, so I've got max speed bar on. I'll try and land before my wing gets wet. And yeah, the few paragliders that I saw seem to be going down, so I guess they were just flying down after cancelling the task. But at least that shows me where I can land. First time I've done big airs in years. Took me a while to figure it out. All the guys are down there. Nice way to end a trip.
In the bag, as good as dry. It's a good feeling. Just a few drips evaporating off my down jacket. Let's get it packed up and let's go.
So another good mission. Time to catch up with the paragliding crew before heading out into the hills again.
Not a minute to spare. Flying down the valley now.
Well, this is the longest video I've made, but at least I didn't combine all of my 2021 footage into one video. Like most of the season, I alternated between more relaxed periods, where I didn't do that much, and bigger A to B trips, which go back to the idealistic way that you might think about flying. Where in reality, the normal thing is that you burn a lot of fuel just to get to the flying site. In Disentis, I ended up joining some of the other pilots in a share house for a few days, and it was great to catch up with everyone and explore this valley, which I've passed through on previous visits. And I got a closer look at what these competitions are like. Certainly it's a dangerous sport, and you need to think about if you're doing it for the right reasons. But as I look back at this and other trips, I have a lot of great memories.